Welcome back and welcome to this next lesson of the scaling the artwork for the template lesson. And what I need to do next is scale the artwork. However, I don't really know what size it is now. So to figure that out, I'm going to zoom back. I'm going to use either the zoom tool here or key commands to zoom out from the current view of the artwork. So if you're going to use the zoom tool, you just click it, and on the Mac you'll press the Option key. On the PC you'll press the Alt key, and you can zoom back. That's one way to zoom. So this is our 8.5 by 11 artwork, and the artwork is very small now. I'm going to switch back to the regular selection tool, and what I want to do next is create a reference point to scale this artwork to, knowing the size of the reference point will allow me to scale the artwork exactly in relation to it. So I'm going to create a block using the rectangle tool, and I want my block to be filled with black but stroked with none. So I want these settings: a fill, it doesn't have to be black, it could be a bright color, and a stroke of none. And I just prefer there to be no strokes since the artwork needs to be very simple. It's just something to gauge other artwork by. And next I'm going to use my rectangle tool to Option on the Mac or Alt on the PC, click with the rectangle with these color settings, and lo and behold, this is the setting I want the artwork to be: 36 inches by 4 inches. Now if your artwork is not set in inches, you'll need to change the artwork preference, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. However, I'm going to click OK now, and this makes a large block. The large block is now in front of all the other artwork, and I made it 36 inches across and just 4 inches tall because I don't want it to be too tall. Now that it is behind the rest of this artwork, I will zoom out some more. I'm going to use the key command, which is going to be Command minus on the Mac and Control minus on the PC, and that's another way of zooming backwards, zooming out. With the regular selection tool, I look over at my tools and move the artwork down, and I can see the relationship that I want this horizontal block to have to this horizontal block. And I'll see you in the very next process of this lesson. Bye for now. Okie dokie folks, it's time to set about creating a gridding process to make it easy to print this artwork out into tiles. Here we go. I'm going to choose from the View menu and make sure that the rulers are showing. My rulers are not showing. By choosing View Show Rulers, my rulers are now showing. And inside of my rulers, I'm going to make sure I have the regular selection tool as much as possible here, and click and drag down, and I am creating a row here. And within this row, I can then move around my page. Let me show you, to the next row and line it up. I'll even give myself a little room for taping, a little extra room here. You can be generous with that. And here is my next line. And now again, I'll move the page to this spot here, and I'll drag out another guideline. So this grid I'm creating is going to make it easy for me to print this out in numbered tiles. And I'll move my page icon again, just making sure that each one of these cells that I'm creating in this grid are a little bit shorter or narrower than the page itself, so I have plenty of room to stitch things together when I begin taping them together. Alright, that looks great. I'm going to put in some numbers now using my text tool here. Actually, you know what? First I'm going to grab my zoom tool and click and drag, zooming in on this artwork, and now take my text tool and put in some numbers on my design here. Right here, I'll type in number 1. Ooh, that looks very small. Let's go ahead and select that. Click and drag across it. It's at 12 points. I'm going to make it 120 points here. There we go. And so I have a large number 1 on that sheet, and I'll copy and paste that text. I can move it over in a number of different ways. I'm moving it over with the arrow keys on my keyboard, holding down the Shift key. So there's sheet number 2, and so forth. All right, now that I've gone ahead and numbered all of these pieces, I've aligned the text elements to these corners, I am going to begin printing, and I'm going to use the page tool here to click and set this on top of the area I want to print, right in here like that, and print out the first piece. So we'll take a look at that in the next movie.